Alrighty, there we go. Welcome back. Okay, Sublunar's time. It's Friday. 6 o'clock. Criminy. I wish they put a bit more of today's time into this, but here we are. First things first, we're gonna go ahead and make sure we open this project in 4.3 so that we can take advantage of whatever goodies 4.3 offers. Yup. Okay. Gonna pray to porting gods to make sure that it doesn't break too much. And technically Dreadtail was okay, so I don't see why this would be. Okay, got a nice loading bar. Tells us something's happening. Okay. Okay, here we go. Invalid assignment. Oh, okay. Shape is sphere. Fascinating. Should probably get rid of these debugger messages. Let's find where it's at. There we go. Okay, so we have sandbox, we have far side. There's the far side. Let's maybe start with something simple. What if we try to do something along the lines of caustics? The caustics is something we would see in the shallow waters. And I think we can do this using decal. Could be either a decal or I guess directional light could also work. Not directional light, but spotlight, because you can overlay textures on them. But I think what we need to do is we need to make something a bit more than just a texture. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, so we got a texture, normal. Oh, that's cool. Albedo, normal, ORM. Fascinating. So they're no longer giving us the option to do separate properties for occlusion, roughness, and metallic. And then emission. Okay. Now this means that there's no material. Is there no material? Auto translate defines if any text should automatically change its translation version. Interesting. For nodes such as label, rich text label, and window. So why is it in the node? Okay. Visibility parent. Man, interesting stuff. Okay, vertical fade parameters. Okay. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But this seems like would have to have a texture here. Which means we might have to look something up. I was kind of thinking we could just do a material. That may not be possible. Unless you can do materials here. Like some sort of a sub-resource, which you can apply a material onto, and then the output of that is what gets applied here. But I doubt it. Although, we do have a canvas texture. Texture with optional normal and specular maps for use in 2D rendering. We could do a viewport. Seems a little overkill, but let's see. Caustics. We can do a sub viewport. Okay, 512 by 512. And then here for the albedo, we will apply viewport texture. That's the viewport. And then we can do our caustics here. And I think, how would we do it? Just texture rect or color rect? Now we can't see it here because we'd have to be able to see through this sub viewport. We're just gonna guesstimate it. We're gonna set it to full rect. And then while being in 3D view, I would imagine that doing that should update it. We know that it's for 2D only. We know that it has got to have a transparent background. I might have to do viewport container, just so we can see what the heck's happening there, if not temporarily. Okay. Size 2D override. The 2D size override of the sub viewport. Okay, that's fascinating. Because first order of business is to get this to actually display the contents. Okay, clear mode, update mode, which should be always. I mean, technically, none of the settings in here should matter. So let me just pop that out. Just gonna place a label here for a sec. Logic would dictate that we should be able to see it. yet. Let me try something like this. Let's do a mesh instance. We're going to do a quad mesh. Let's go ahead and position it here. Give it a standard material, albedo, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay. This needs to be equal. So that works. Shows us what we want. So what gives with this guy? Let's try, what do we have here? Decal. Maybe it's the, hold on, maybe it's the orientation of the decal. No? Not by the looks of it. Okay, so let's see if I do another decal. Now that the viewport texture already exists. Reset the rotation. And then textures, viewport texture. Oh! Okay. Well, that makes no sense, but okay. I guess I'll take it. Cool. Well, if that works... Let's see, delete this node. It updates here. Doesn't update over there. We might be hitting some sort of a limitation. Alright, let's try giving this canvas. Yeah, shader material, actually. And then this is going to be... I suppose a coded shader would be fine. Okay. Shaders. Caustics. Alrighty, now, I believe we have some utility textures that we've prepped before. Yep, there we go. We use it for the waves, so uniform sampler 2D. Source color. Nice. Populate that there. In the fragment shader, color, it's going to be equals to texture. There we go. Okay. Not bad. It's a little blurry here. Oh, well, that explains it. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to do 2 of them, and the 2 have to be completely different. Hopefully this will actually run when the game actually runs. I'm okay with not being able to see it the preview in the editor, as long as it works. Alright. Let's do texture times another texture. UV. And now we need to have some offset. So we'll do plus vector 2 time times 0.001. And then that's only for one value. 0.0 for the other. If it liked that, it would work. Constants cannot be modified. Plus. Okay. That doesn't seem quite right. Really? Is it actually that slow? I refuse to believe. You liar. That does not seem to be correct. Unless it is, and I simply didn't... No, I did set both textures. Okay. Huh. Okay, now that seems to be stationary. Yeah, it does work. It's just stationary. Why is time not moving forward anymore? Vector 2 times... So we take UVs, we add to them vector 2 multiplied by 0.00001, which should be working. I mean, even if I just did time is a built-in constant, which technically it's a built-in varying constant. We cannot change it, but it does always evolve. That seems weird. I mean, we know time works because we have waves that are advancing forward. So could very well be that this doesn't update constantly. Are we missing something? Maybe we haven't told it that it's supposed to be... It's supposed to be 2D only? Hmm. That is all sorts of fascinating. Why are you not updating? Let's double check something. So if I go here, color rect, we're just gonna quickly replicate the same exact thing. Quick load, caustics, and then the two parameters. Okay, so that behaves exactly the same way here. Interesting. Oh, maybe it's because it's set to canvas item. And it's supposed to be... No, canvas item is 2D. That makes sense. Because this is a 2D object. Okay. Let me try this. So UV plus time becomes white, which makes sense. Plus sine using time. It oscillates, which means time does work. Okay, so one more time. Add vector 2 time 0.0. Ah. Okay, let's try with one texture. See if we can figure this out. Plus vector 2. Ah. Okay. That's the problem. The textures are not repeating. So we need to do repeat enable. Right. Okay, so I suppose we're gonna make this mistake a couple of times before we learn to remember that one. Okay, cool. So that's good. That works. We're gonna multiply this by 0.1 and then 0.1. So we have 1, and then we're gonna multiply by another texture. This is gonna be using the second one. UV plus same thing. Okay, except we're gonna do maybe minus here. Nice. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, let's get a third one going. So multiply. Since we have 3 textures, might as well see what it looks like. And then this time we're actually gonna only do it in vertical axis. So 2, this would be 3. Okay, yes. And then let's do color plus color. Plus equals color, technically. I guess we can just times equals... No, we cannot multiply it by a solid number. We have to multiply it by itself. So let's do times color, or I think we do plus, excuse me. So just multiply by itself or add itself. So the brighter bits become brighter. And anyway, it's darker. Well, it's already dark, so there's nothing to really do there. Nice. Okay, that works. So we got 3 textures all working together. Just out of curiosity, what happened if I do plus here? Oh, looks like ass. Let's not do that. Well, it looks like ass because we are multiplying the color by itself. Nah. This is just fine. Okay. I don't need this. This has served its purpose. I do want to save the shader. Can I save? There we go. We don't need this. All right, back to far side. Okay, so this works here, which means it should technically work here as well. Unless decals are not live updated. Decals might actually be just a one-time thing. They just get baked into the color map, color channel. Okay, let's see. are we? What's over there? Okay, let's just position the player right next to this thing. Mm-hmm. And big fat nothing. Okay. Oh. Well. That could explain it. Update always, clear always. Maybe next frame. Okay. Oh. Interesting. All we had to do is just move this guy in here, and it automatically forced the other one to update as well. Oh. Okay. Could very well be because multiple overlapping decals don't work very well together. Well, that's okay. All it does is update it, the existing one. Okay, so if that doesn't work, let's see about maybe a light. Let's do a spotlight. Light transform to view. Okay. Now we can apply the projector, which is going to be a viewport texture. We're bugging out. There we go. All right. I'm going to move it inside. Get rid of the decal. And just for good measure, place this right here. All right. Don't need this. And doesn't like that. Okay, probably no volumetrics. Thank you very much. Maybe the terrain editor might allow us to overlay an extra material on top. Okay, now, you know what? The fact that it doesn't work here might be a clue. Maybe it's because it is, as long as we're using it here, it is not a unique resource. Maybe? Nah, you should be able to reuse the viewport texture across multiple elements. Doesn't work here. Do we have any errors? Okay, we should probably get rid of some of these. Okay. Okay. Scattering props. And then swimming forward. Okay, I do see the debugger error. That could potentially tell us something is wrong. Viewport texture must be set to use it. Get height, get width. Viewport texture must be set to use it. Hmm. Viewport texture must be set to use it. Is it one of those... I think it might be one of those issues where it doesn't get the viewport texture when the game runs. I think we've seen this before in Dreadtail with the computer terminal viewport. Okay, so if I do this, and if I go to remote, and then we open up that mesh instance, here's the mesh, material, albedo, it does have the texture. It is right there. Okay. Fascinating. Maybe it's the spotlight, projector. Get height. Okay. Let's try assigning a script here. Maybe we need to pragmatically acquire the viewport texture using code. Scripts, I guess this would be... effects. All right. So we're going to talk to the texture. Get texture. And then we're going to apply it. Do it like this. Yes, we can. Just at least temporarily. Oh, well, it might be easier if we just talk to ourselves. Projector. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the mesh instance. Let's see if the error goes away. It does go away. Huh. Fascinating. Yeah, as soon as you said it, the viewport texture must be set to use it. What are you talking about? It is right here. It is right here, my man. Do I have to disable 3D? Hmm. Okay, we have errors. Parameter T is null. Parameter T? What are you talking? What? What? What are you talking about, man? What parameter T? This guy might be tripping. Okay, let's well, that shows up there, but it doesn't mean that it works. Let me try this just to get the error. Okay. Viewport texture must be set to use it. Alright, let's look this up. Viewport texture is obtained by instantiating it instead of getting it from the existing viewport. Some properties need to be set before it can be used. This error message is really not very detailed. I think I remember reading this. Keep getting it too. Otherwise, sub viewport works fine. Yeah, we don't need a sub viewport. I set sub viewport update mode to always to fix the problem. There's a bug. Okay, we've seen this a while back. Update only when visible. I don't think that fixes it though. Workaround. Set the viewport texture to the parent node of okay. Of both the sub viewport and the mesh instance 3D encode. Set viewport texture in the parent node of both sub viewport. Okay, so we get sub viewport, get texture. Uh-huh. Mesh was initialized first. Holds reference to an initialized viewport. Issue resolved after a frame or so. Right, but in that one frame, it breaks everything. Setup local to scene. Order of instantiation. Mainly depends on whether or not viewport setup local to scene is called. Currently, even if a resource has local to scene enabled, but its parent resource does not have local to scene enabled, the resource will call setup local to scene. So can I just drag this, make it be initiated before, and just say, yep, it's right there. You can use it. I doubt it, but let's see. No, it crashed because this is no longer in the same space. Okay. Yeah, we do have 3 errors, so that did not actually work. Well, now it just says parameter t something something. Get texture. Reopening the project. Viewport texture must be set to use it. It's not fixed. Still in issue 4.1, 4.2. 411. Oh boy. For 3. It's still an issue. It's still an issue. People have been complaining about it since, what, 2022? Well, that's not good. Generate an error when adding, appending an element of a different type does not match type array. That's not it. Have those issues. Removed from 4.3 milestone, which tells me that what? Confirmed high priority. Apparently not high enough. It's been high priority for 2 years, fellas. Nobody wants to deal with this issue. Okay. So we have had a problem with this in Dreadtail. How did we solve this? Maybe, I'm just gonna double check this. Viewport texture. I'm gonna make a new one. VT. Viewport texture. I'm pretty sure this is what I tried to do before, and it was not correct. It wants a path to a viewport. Let's see if this is gonna do something. So, viewport path, was it? Do you speak? I speak, unless the microphone is muted for some reason. Do I speak? This guy. Viewport path is what we want. It wants a node path. We can't select properly, apparently. There we go. Viewport path. And I guess we'll do get parent, get node, Caustic's viewport. Right, okay. And then get path. Cool. And then light projector is going to be set to this texture. I doubt this will work. VR is not a thing. VT, however, is. Okay. 2 errors. It still doesn't seem to work. But we have 2 errors now. Parameter T is invalid. What parameter T are you talking about? There is not a single parameter here called T. Shut up, Windows. New updates ready to a device. Jeez. Okay, so there's no errors there. Was updated to 4.3 not a wise decision? That's not a good sign. Let me try this. So get rid of that. And let's get it to at least appear in the mesh instance. Okay. Quad mesh. Yes. Material override, standard material, albedo, and then this is where we would set the texture. Set material override. 0. No, we want to get material. Material override. There's only one of them. I guess we just acquire it this way. And then Albedo something. Good day, mate. How's it going? Going all right. We are losing our minds over some viewport texture shenanigans, which apparently have not been fixed since the last time we've dealt with these viewport texture shenanigans. Albedo. Albedo texture. Maybe some of these settings are depreciated. Okay, so that... yeah, that doesn't seem to work. Okay, what if we do this? What if we wait a frame? If it doesn't want to set up in the first frame, maybe we'll just wait a frame. Big fat same issue. Set text viewport texture must be set to use it. So I suppose we can't actually generate a new viewport texture. We have to talk to this viewport. Get texture. Let's see if this works with a call deferred. Nope. Viewport texture must be set to use it. Okay. My God. Okay, what do I have here? Sub-viewport is a viewport that isn't a window. It doesn't draw anything by itself. To display anything, sub-viewport must have a non-zero size and be either put inside a sub-viewport container or assigned to a viewport texture. Okay. Okay, it must be assigned to a viewport texture. Viewport texture provided contents of the viewport as a dynamic texture 2D. This can be used to combine the rendering of control, node 2D, node 3D nodes. To get the viewport texture in code, use viewport.getTexture method on the target viewport. A viewport texture is always local to its scene, resource local to scene. If the scene root is not ready, it may return incorrect data, which might be what's happening here. Instantiating scenes containing high resolution viewport textures may cause noticeable stutter. The path of the viewport node to display is relative to the local scene root. Okay. Let me, for a second, please switch local to scene property. Okay, can't create viewport texture on the resource because it's not set local to scene. Ugh. Okay, sure, local to scene. Good. Now, does the mesh instance have to be local to scene? Okay. I don't think that... that's not even the property, so don't have to worry about it. Okay, and then let's return. Oh, okay. Okay. So what the shit changed? We did everything. Everything was the same. Okay, is it because it's coming up first? Let's see. Okay, it's still working. I do have errors, but it's working. Okay, now, is it gonna work on the light? Viewport texture. Okay. Local to scene. And then I don't see it working. So I doubt it. Oh, what is that? Projector texture only works with shadows active. Is it a simple case of me and... Oh, jeez. I think it's just the case of me not reading the error. Okay. Let's move that inside. Get rid of this nonsense. Interesting. Well, it's not that it was any different. I mean, hold on a sec. Maybe it does have to be outside. And then viewport texture. Okay. Don't see it. It doesn't complain about it, though. But I don't see it. That's really cool. I wonder if it's going to also affect the volumetrics. Well, okay. Before we dream that big, let's just get it to work in the first place. Okay, let's disable 3D. Let's make sure that it clears and updates always. Again, it's kind of infuriating that it works in the editor, does not work in the game. What's different? There's nothing different. There's no code here. Okay. Let's do a quick double check. Quad mesh. Okay, so that works. Are the lights or shaders in the scene? There's some... Oh. You know, that might actually be true. We have a player with some post-processing. It might be one of those cases where it's kind of like refraction. Doesn't display some of the transparent objects behind. Let's see. Although, okay, so far that's not the... Oh, no, I still see effects. I think that is somewhere else. Globals. Screen effects. Okay. We're gonna... no. I think we need to have it be enabled. But I'm just gonna hide it. Okay. I don't see it. I don't see it not working. What else? We have user interface. And then this. Okay. Everything is disabled. We should see a clear overlay. Okay, and we don't see anything. Anything else? We have global UI. which could potentially have something. Developer panel. Oh, actually, hold on a sec. The shader is not a part of the scene. It's not local. Could that be it? Oh no, we're going to the sandbox. There's too much stuff there. Dang it. Okay. Go to the far side. Come on. Alright, here we go. The shader. So, if we take a look at this, local to scene. Okay, we're gonna get bombarded with errors. Okay, nope. Alright, hold on a sec. Let's try this. Get rid of that. Let's just put a texture. And, okay, so we see this. We don't see a viewport texture. Oh, hold on. What's this? Allowed viewport. So it must be something with these settings, maybe. We do have disable 3D, but this texture isn't used. This viewport isn't used as 3D. Okay, let's return a lot of the stuff back to default. Mm-hmm. I must say, I'm this close to just animating this effect. I'm this close to just animating and making a 16 frame loop. Although it's going to be choppy as hell, it will at least work. Variable shading. Disable, enable. Oh, that's for audio listeners. 2D and 3D. Okay. Just gonna lift myself up above surface of water. Just double check. Nope, still can't see it. Okay. Size to the override stretch. Maybe we take a look at that. I mean, the quad mesh, the flat plane is displaying the texture fine. So, I don't see why this would struggle. Okay. Keep in mind, I have absolutely no idea how it stopped complaining about texture issue. So, that's lovely. Just gonna try this real quick. Maybe it's the terrain. Maybe the terrain doesn't accept lights. That does not work. Let me try this. So we're going to place the camera there. CSG. You know what? It's my mistake. It's my mistake for assuming this was going to be a fairly troubleless development stream. That one's entirely on me. Yeah, okay, that doesn't do anything. Fascinating. Not at all. So what do we do now? If only there was a way to apply effects directly to textures. That would be lovely. Instead, we have to do this. Okay. Let me double check the terrain. So here we have textures. Only accepts albedo and normal, with all the nested subtextures of those, and nothing else. So, yay. Okay. Not okay. Wait, hold on. Maybe that's what's happening. The quad mesh, maybe it's blocking the light source. Nope. Would have been fun if it did. But nope. Just put this, take this out. Place it right there. Alright, well, we've spent an entire hour trying to figure this out. And I don't think we're any closer to it. It works on this. It does not work on this. Interesting. Looks like we don't get volumetrics based on the texture. That's unfortunate, but okay. Oh, that's cool. You can do blur on the shadows. Not in this one, not with the texture assigned to it, but if we had normal shadows. Yes. And even if I delete this, I don't think it's a competing textures thing. When multiple resources are trying to compete for the same texture data. Okay, let me try this. Godot viewport or spotlight projector viewport texture. Viewport projector texture doesn't work. This isn't supported. Really? Oh man. Well, that sucks.